This episode of the Winging It podcast, I had a conversation with Muhanad. Muhanad is a Iraqi guy that escaped Iraq after his family received essentially a death threat in the mail. It was very, very mind-blowing for me to sit down and have a conversation with someone that lives in such extreme conditions or has lived in such extreme conditions. And I'm remarkably grateful to have met him and to have this experience talking to someone who has lived in such a traumatic life. Muhanad had left Iraq with his dad, mum, and his brothers, and he arrived in Vienna 6 years ago. He's such a smiley guy, and he's got an incredible sense of humor, and I'm really privileged to meet him. And I hope that you guys enjoy the conversation. Cheers. Well, let's start. Muhanad, or Muha, you said short.
Yeah, so you can just say Muha.
Muha.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming and seeing me and recording this podcast. I met you at an English-speaking afternoon, the first Thursdays thingy, and I heard some incredible stories from you and your dad, and I think your brothers moved from Iraq to Salzburg.
Yeah, well, it's me, my father, and my three brothers, and the mother too. So we just came a whole family, you can say, a full package.
Crazy. Yeah, and I heard some fantastically insane stories. I don't know, yeah. And it was just like, it would just be so awesome to get you on the podcast to explain your life, because I think there's so much to hear from you and your dad and everything. So if you could start by explaining how did you and your family leave Iraq?
Yeah, well, first I just want to say thank you for having me here, for the invite. Starting with directly, how did we leave Iraq?
Yeah, how did you get to the situation where your dad or your mum or whoever said, right, we need to leave? And
it's an accumulation of situations and things happened in our life. So as you know, my father, he's an electric contractor. He worked in army bases. They're mostly Iraqi bases, but they have American troops settled there, like based inside those army bases. And he used to do the contract and the electric work there in their bases.
Right.
But since he was in contact with the U.S. Army, and he used to translate for the other Iraqis who didn't know how to speak English, word came and it spread like real fast when someone has contact with the U.S. Army. You don't know who said it, when it started, but it spreads quick that my father works with the U.S. Army. And this by itself is a threat, because you can just get killed. They call themselves the resistance, but in reality they're just terrorists.
Okay.
So they would just, like, in their mind, I'm a traitor to my country, I'm helping the enemy. This is an excuse for them to come and try to intimidate me or just to threaten me. Hey, if you don't just leave your home, we're gonna kill you. Or they just can skip to the end and just come and kill the person. It happens a lot in Iraq, and it happened a lot in 2007, 2006, right to the end of 2009, and it still happens right now. But mostly it did happen 2005 to 2011. This was the majority of the assassinations.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, your father was working in cooperation with the US, and that word got out, and then the resistance, you say, became aware, and then
it's a
he.
militia. They call themselves resistant, but they're
This is just
in reality,
terrorists.
terrorists,
Let's just say
militias.
terrorists,
Yeah,
okay.
militias.
And then did they put a hit on your dad, or was your dad in so much danger that you had to leave, or how was it?
If you think about it, just living in Iraq, just living your normal life.
Yeah.
This is by itself, this is danger. This is by itself is a challenge, because we Iraqis there, when we wake up, we don't know if we're going to sleep again. If we're going out of the house, you don't have no idea if you're coming back or not. So it's a whole adventure each day, if you think about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was a lot of difficulties when he went to work and came back, because this road, just as I told you, the militia know that people go there to work, and they can post 1 or 2 cars in the way, far from the entrance. They can mark which vehicle is going inside the army base and not. And after some time, they would like come after in the street. You don't know. They would just tell you just to pull over. Hey, can I ask you something? And they're near the window. They just shoot you, or they make a roadblock. And when the right car they wanted comes close to them, please go to that way. We want to have a word with you, or we have some suspicious, and we want to search the car. And if you just do that, that's it. You're done.
You're dead.
Yeah, you're dead. You have no way, because they have guns. They have automatic guns.
And did that happen to your dad?
I wasn't with him when that happened, but yeah, I think once or twice some cars followed him, and he had to drive fast. I think he mentioned that when we were at the meeting.
Yeah, the other night. Yeah.
Yeah, and the good thing is our car, my father had a Mitsubishi Pajero, so it's a 4x4 high vehicle SUV, and he had a big Ram at the front.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter who's in front of you.
Yeah.
It's either you or the other guy. You have to push on. So yeah, he had to drive really fast, and I think he mentioned it once that they came really close to put the knife on his throat.
Wow.
Yeah, and he mentioned it as a joke. So most of these situations, we have to take it as a joke, to like kill the threatening in it and try to put some sense of humor in it, to digest the life there.
And to keep living, I guess.
Exactly, yeah. And one of the times he said he was with my uncle, and they were just driving. My uncle had another car, and like a car was in front of them, and they opened the back door. I think it was a van. They opened the back door, and they just dropped 2 bodies wrapped in bags.
Really?
Yeah, it's just like a movie. I think it was a Bad Boys movie, the first one, where in Miami, Will Smith and the other guy, they dropped the bodies and they drive on it. Yeah, so they dropped 2 bodies. My father had to go around them. My uncle said no. He just stopped the car, turned around, went back. And yeah, so it's these situations, they happen from time to time.
And what would happen with those bodies they just left there?
It's hard to like see these things. It happened a lot. I told you like before, the place that we live in, it was a real bad place. The neighborhood was nice, the neighbors were okay, but then the street near us, it was not good, because the geographic position there, it was between 2 army bases that belongs to the U.S. Army, and they had to go forward, back and forward from these places, and they would get targeted once or twice a week. So
wow.
You can say twice a month is a stable thing. So you have to expect at least twice a month explosions, bombs. They call it IEDs, or bombs, you can call it.
Which is a kind of like a landmine?
Sometimes they use landmines, sometimes they use artillery shells, sometimes they use tank shells. They opened the front head and they put a detonator, so it's just a stick. They put it inside with 2 wires, and you can make it in contact with a cellular device or with a remote control, with a walkie-talkie to activate it, with a timer. Once a time they just put it, and they do it at the night, so in public. They go at the night, we hear the jackhammers try to drill the street or the walkway. They put it, and they just put everything back in its place. They made a line in the middle of the street where they put the wire.
Yeah.
They covered it, and so we know the next day we have to keep our windows open. Something's gonna happen, and you cannot interfere with them and just go. Who like, if you just wanted to tell someone, you're gonna call who? Cops? They're on their side. You can't do anything.
So you basically wake up in the morning, you heard digging from a jackhammer, which
2
is
or 3 in the morning,
or a sign essentially that, okay, there's another bomb, or there's another explosive being laid, and you wake up in the morning and you open your windows preparing for a bomb to explode.
Yeah, exactly. And we can see them because in Iraq there's no most of the people, they live in houses, so it's 2 stories, and in summer, because it's too hot and the electricity is not good, so we sleep on the roof. And from the rooftops we can just see them in the streets. They're digging and they're doing their work. You just see it, and you have to accept it that next day something is gonna happen.
No way. And so is this in Baghdad?
Yeah,
Baghdad.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
This is the capital of Iraq.
Yeah, and this is are you in the central city, or?
Yes, I'm in the center. It's normal. This happens all over Iraq. It's not just Iraq. Nowadays it's Syria, Afghanistan was before us, Yemen, a lot of countries.
Yeah.
Lebanon, Palestine. But Palestine, more or less, they're just between the people and the Israeli government.
Yeah.
But yeah, the terrorism and the bombing and killing, these things just happen in Iraq mostly. It's Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, Yemen, some of the Arabic countries in North Africa also happens sometimes.
Yeah. And so when you clearly were in danger, your parents decided to leave, and did you just need anywhere to go, or did you specifically choose Austria, or how did you get to this situation where you can leave your country?
Well, at first you don't think in a specific place. You just need to get out, because when you wake up in the morning next day and you find an envelope slid to you inside your house, and what happened is they write text, you're blah blah blah, we know that you did this and that, so we are giving you a 2-day head start, you can say.
Oh my god.
And they do, so it's what do you call it, a tradition for the militia. When they want to tell you that we mean this, they put 1 bullet inside the envelope, so you know that this bullet means this is you. You have to disappear in 24-hour or 48 hours. You have to disappear. It doesn't matter. You have to sell everything in half the price or even less, because if you leave something, you cannot go back. That house, those things, they're marked. Anyone who goes there, that means that person is in contact with that family that they threatened. So it doesn't matter. They will come to you. So you have to sell everything real fast and find another place to live.
And disappear.
Exactly. We tried to live with a relative of ours. It didn't work because that place was also bad. So they knew that we came from Baghdad. And Baghdad, most of them are Shiite. And my uncle, he lives in a Sunnite place. So hey, why this family came from a Shiite place is living with you now. Tell them to move, or this is gonna be a liability on you and your family also. We tried to go to live with a friend of ours, like a couple of days until we like decided we need to leave the country because it doesn't matter where you go. You go north, south, east, west. Basically, everything is with the militias because
And
this is how it works.
How old were you at this stage?
This was 2004. You can say 20.
And as a 20-year-old, you woke up every day. I mean, especially when this was happening to you and your family, not knowing if you're going to die that day. Is that something that affects you now, or how did you handle that?
Well, the first time I saw the body, it was 2006.
Okay.
Yeah. So just to put that out there.
Just say that.
Yeah. So this is normal. A normal life for you in Iraq is to see people get killed. You have to get used to it. You have to put your mentality in a place. This is life now. I'm living here. I have to get used to these things. Because you can't do anything about it. And as I told you, you have to get used to it. Our place is not just the bombs. Dead bodies get killed. People get assassinated. They just get dropped. And I don't know if I can say this. Should I go extreme a bit?
No, go for it. Everything that you shouldn't, that is too extreme, I'll just take out.
Okay,
So say whatever you need.
Okay, so couple of times this happened near our house also, the place where we lived. People get dropped by from a car. They get shot. They're dying. You call the cops. The cops come. They stand there. He's dead. Then they pick him up.
So they wait for him to die.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you pick him up and help him, first aid, everything, you just help that guy. You're next.
Wow.
So you have to just accept, or they're just with the militias, then they just waiting for the job to get done. So it's one or two. Either they're with them, or you're just trying to protect yourself and your family. You cannot interfere with those guys, and you have no idea who these guys were. They're with the Sunni guys, or they're with the Shia, because most of them, they just wear black, and that's it. And so you if they think that you're against them, you're an enemy, and you have to get used to these things. So yeah, it was kind of hard to wake up every day not knowing if you're gonna get sleep, if you're coming back to the house, but it was a risk you have to take. It's your life at that point.
Well, from my seat right here, I mean, like, and I think a lot of people listening, hearing this is, it's so far from the reality that I've been privileged enough to live my whole life. I was brought up in a country where this, this never could, in any dream, could happen. The only way that you would possibly see this was on TV or the news. And even then, it's still not in some ways real. It's like, oh yeah, the TV, there's a war in Iraq again, or this happened in Iraq again. And it's like, as selfish humans we are, I think there's I don't mean offense like that. Everyone is selfish in a certain way.
It's human nature, so
you sort of see it and you don't feel anything, you don't act on it. But that's your reality. That's where you're born and you're grown up and you've been through that every day of your life. And for me to sit across from you and hear this, it's a privilege to be here. I know that it's like, I don't know. I'm a bit speechless, to be honest. How did you come to Austria then?
So as I told you, we got threatened, envelope you just wake up and you
Yeah.
find an envelope,
Yeah.
that means you have to leave.
Yeah.
And we tried some different possibilities, and it didn't work. Either they can find us, or that place is not okay to be accepted as second home. So we tried several options, and it didn't work. We had to go to the option of leaving the country. A friend of a friend of a friend, and we got in contact with a friend who knew someone that can help you to go out of the country.
Yeah.
And it cost a lot, let me tell you. So 8 and how much is it? Yeah, 5. No. Yeah, 4 zeros. $80,000. $80,000, if I'm not mistaken. Yes,
To just exit Iraq.
exactly. 6% just to give them a new life, you can say.
Wow. And so where did you go?
So the guy, it's also like our life in Iraq. You can say it's a movie. So you see it in the movies. The guy comes, he tries to smuggle. The smuggler comes, you give them the money, and he do all the work. This exactly what's happened.
Yeah.
You make an agreement with him. I'll give you the money when I arrive. So he have to do this work to get this money he wants. I don't know what exactly he did, but I think he forged some papers to get us out.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure we didn't have passports.
Yeah.
And when you fly from an airport, you have to have passport. So I think he did forge some passports or some papers to get us out. And even so, it's not just the papers. They have connections inside the airport. So when you go inside the airport, you don't go from the normal entrance. There's another entrance.
Wow.
When you go out from the other airport, you don't go out like normal people. You go out through some walkways, and you find yourself outside the airport. That's it. No checkpoint. No one asks you where did you come from, your passport, nothing. Airplane, street. That's it. So it was one of those things that just happened, and like,
Were you scared?
it's not being scared of what's happening. It's being scared of if this is gonna work. Am I gonna get caught? Is it going to get failed? Am I going to do something that will fail our way of going out? So this was my only fear.
Okay. And then where did you fly to?
I don't remember exactly where it was, but we went from Iraq to another place, transit.
Yeah.
And I told you, it's movies. Life is just like a movie. You wait in some room, you wait, and then he comes, takes you to another airplane. You fly, you go down, you find yourself outside on the street. That's it. The airplane part is over. We went to another place, stayed overnight, and then after that they took us to with a car on a road trip, you can say. But you're not allowed to talk, you're not allowed to ask, what's this, where are we, what's this place called, what. So you have to just keep calm and let them be in control of everything to make this work. And it doesn't matter how curious you get, how much you want to know where you are. You have to accept that your life is in their hands. You have to do exactly what they say.
Okay.
And at the end, they just told us, this is Vienna.
Really?
Yeah.
You're in Vienna?
You're in Vienna. And you have to, at that point, you make a call to a friend or a relative which you gave them money to give them a confirmation. Hey, I just arrived. I'm in one piece. You can give them give them the money.
And how long did this whole journey take?
I don't remember exactly. It was 2015. It was in May. I honestly don't remember, because like sometimes some things happen in your life, you try to block it. You don't. It's some memories you don't want to relive it each day, so you just block it out. And I don't want to be a liar, but I honestly don't remember.
Okay. No, fair enough. So what's... Man, that's crazy.
Yeah. I can see your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you've come to Vienna now and you've just arrived, first of all, how long have you been in Salzburg or in Austria? Sorry.
Since
That date.
2015 May. It's 6 years and couple of months, 2 or 3 months, 2 months, 3 months to be better.
And with the 6 years and 2 months, how have the experiences of the Austrian culture and the people and the traditions been for you? Has it been hard? Have you missed home? Have you integrated, or like what? They're worlds apart.
Yes, you're right, because my home is on a different continent.
Yeah.
And I'm living on another continent. It's way far. The culture, the way of living here, the architecture, the buildings, the streets, the services, the vehicles, everything is different. It's a new life. You have to get used to it. And do I miss home? Yes. Everyone missed the place he grew up in. Everyone misses his friends, the guys he hang out with. Everyone misses the home you lived, you slept, you ate, you watched TV, you took a shower. Until now, sometimes like I just close my eyes, and in my mind I'm inside that house. I'm just taking a tour inside my house, which is in another continent now. I find it interesting living here. You have to get integrated. You have to accept life here. It's fun. It's nice. The people are really nice. It's a cool experience to try another culture. The difference in culture is obvious. Arabs, or the place I live in, is in the Middle East. Just saying the Middle East by itself, that's another culture. And Europe is another culture. But for me personally, our family, it's an open-minded family, so we can accept change and accept new things. There are some families are living here, without saying names, they don't like to get integrated here. They don't like the ways here. But personally, I've watched a lot of movies and TV shows, English ones, so I'm used to see the way of life of what I'm living here.
Yeah.
So it was easier for me to get integrated, to accept this new life, and the buildings and the weather, the nice views here. It's really nice.
Yeah.
It's a whole new life. You have to appreciate it. You have to be thankful to be here, to have a second chance. Yes. So.
Yeah. I'm fascinated to hear more about your life in Iraq and what it was like to work there. Did you work there? And
Yeah, I used to work with my father. I told you he's an electric contractor. Sometimes when I don't have school, I work with him. I work with my father. In the summer when there's no school, I also go work with him, because this extra money you get used to. No one says no for extra money.
yeah.
And he's my father, so there's no really hard work I'm gonna get. It's just the easy work. It's like being the kid of the teacher. No one's gonna to touch you. No one's going to give you the hard work. No, nothing. Yeah. Yeah, but I did work as an electrician with my father. We used to work in big supermarkets, big
Okay.
shopping centers,
Okay.
some hospitals, clinics, houses. I used to work with him because he takes the project from the ground. He has to work each and every cable. He has to put it inside the building and works with them right to the end, where they before they open the door, he has to check each and every switch, each and every light, an alarm system, everything. He has to check it.
Yeah.
If it works, then he can deliver the project and says, I've done my work.
Okay, I see. And have you ever had any near-death experiences? I mean,
In work, you mean?
not work-related. I mean, clearly you have.
Interesting life.
Because you've just told me that there's bombs down the street at night. But can you explain or can you talk about any specific experiences that you've realized I almost died?
Yeah, I've mentioned it before. Living in Iraq, it's an adventure by itself. Just life, normal life. It's an adventure. I can give you an example. One day, me and my friends. So in our place where it's a hazard, it's a place where bombs go off. There's by the streets, there's a concrete wall. It's a 2 meter high. I think it's a half meter thickness.
Yeah.
It's a concrete wall, so it's safe. We sit on the other side. The street is on the other side. And me and my friend, we were just sitting having a sunny day, living life, trying to listen to some music. And living there, the army cars comes and go by. You get used to the voices of the vehicles, the engine and everything. And I told him, it's better that we move with this place.
Because this for me is fascinating, because you told me a bit about this before. The sound of the vehicle
Exactly.
you recognize to be a US.
An armored vehicle. It's
Armored
called
vehicle.
Bradley. It belongs to the Marines.
Okay.
U.S. Marines. Yeah, it's like an army vehicle, and I think it's called an amphibian. You can use it on land, and in water too. So it's like a boat.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, and you can get used to the sounds to the vehicles. I can recognize if it's a Bradley, if it's a personal vehicle, if it's a bigger one, which is close to a tank, if it's just an Humvee, a normal one, by the sound, because you get used to it. They just go by our house.
Yeah.
You get used to the sounds, just like you get when you hear a sound on the street. You know, it's a small vehicle. If it's a moped motor, or it's just a big vehicle. So yeah, I told him, hey, this is the sound of their vehicles. We need to move. And he said, no, it's just a normal big, like it's just a lorry or a
normal
truck. Yeah, it's a normal. I told him, no, listen, focus. This is the U.S. Army Bradley. I know it. Don't you recognize it? He said, well, no. He's a bit taller than me, so I told him, well, just stand up and have a look. And he stood and said, yeah, you're right. It's them. They're coming. They're far away. I told him, well, is it better to let's move? Something might happen. He said, no, it's not gonna happen. It happened last week. And he convinced me to stay. Bad idea. Let me tell you. It was a bad idea to stay at that point. And we were just trying to listen to a music, and like when they show it in the movies, when a bomb go off, the times just stop. Everything slows down. You just it's not slowing down, but your mind is processing the millisecond that's happening in life, exactly in a movie or inside a video game. When you just press a button, everything moves so slow. You process each and every movement. Everything is trying to go inside the house to get protected, to find a shelter, and just by a snap of a finger, everything just moves fast and normal again. The debris starts to come down, the dust is everywhere, and you just hear the screams of the kids. They're afraid. The nearest door open they find, they just ran dashing inside that house. It doesn't matter if that's their house or not.
Yeah.
At that point, you find your kids in somebody else's house. You find someone else's kids inside your house. You don't know whose kid this is, but you just have a new member in the family.
Yeah.
So it happened, and by that time,
But how close? You said how close was it to you?
If I'm not mistaken, it was 5 to 6 meters. The bomb.
And that wall saved your life, basically.
Exactly. Yeah, it's if it wasn't for that wall, I would have been here because it made a big hole inside in the street and the walkway there, and it's not just normal landmines, personnel landmines. They use artillery shells, they use tank shells, whatever explosive they get their hands on. They put just the detonator, the stick inside of it, and that's it. You have a bomb, IED they call it, the US Army. It's a bomb. That's it.
Yeah.
They can use it wherever, whenever they like.
So was it a tripwire that the truck drove over?
It's hard to explain because you don't know exactly what it is, because as I mentioned, there's a variety of choice. There's a whole choices you can use. You can use a cellular device, a mobile phone to detonate it, like in the movies. You can use a timer. You can use a tripwire. Well, no one uses a tripwire because it's inside the street, so any car walking there or a person might set it off.
Right.
So it's a wire. They watch. They have a view on the street, and they know where to ignite the detonator and to make it go off.
Yeah,
set it off. So one time, even that happened, and mostly it's the militia, the Shiite militia, the extremists. And one time they took a wire, put it in the street. You can see it. Our rooftops. We sleep in the summer on the rooftop of our houses, and you hear sounds. You see from up top. You see them digging in the streets. You know what's going to happen. And one time they did it with a wire, and they just use a small generator. The small generator you can use anywhere.
Yeah.
Just that time when they wanted, they just give it a spark. That's it. The bomb goes off. So they took a wire and put it to another block. They were waiting. So in the morning, one of our neighbors, he was Shia also, he cut the wire. They came, knocked on his door. Hey, we know you cut the wire. If you were not a Shia, you were not one of us, this wouldn't be happening. You wouldn't be living in right now. This is your only and last choice. Warning, don't do it again. Just because you're one of us, this is your choice.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you're Shia also, you're in their way at that point. So yeah, it was a near-death experience. And also, it's not just the bomb itself that it was a danger. If the U.S. Army, if the soldier feels he's in danger, he has the right to shoot to protect himself.
Yeah.
And when the bomb went off, me and my friend just popped off. We just popped from the other side of the wall. So he just turned his gunner, the 50 cal, on us, and he was aiming that on us. So if we even flinched, he could have just pressed it, and that's it. Even one bullet of that one, that's it to end. Game over.
Yeah, dude. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I find interesting is your approach, your comedic approach to this. You make it sound like it's a joke, and
you have to accept it. You have to put it. You have to say it as a joke to be accepted.
Yeah.
If you're just thinking about this life of yours, which is just seeing blood, seeing people getting killed, seeing bombs went off, people getting injured, burns, destructions. If you just think about them, this is horrible, you're not going to have a stable mind.
Yeah.
You're just going to get crazy. You have to process whatever you have in a way to make it acceptable to yourself.
Right.
So
it's a coping mechanism.
Exactly. You have to code it to be an acceptable way to digest the situation.
And after coming to Vienna, and you've lived here for a while, and the experiences that you've been through with your life, how do you stand with gratitude? How you must be very grateful to be in a safe country, and do you actively remind yourself every day how grateful you are, or do you need to do that, or is it just a natural thing that you're instantly, every day you wake up, you're happy to be alive, or happy to be here? Do you still?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, Iraq, first of all, I'm going to give you some points in Iraq, some points here. And just by saying these points, you're going to find that you have to be grateful. You feel grateful. So, first, the electricity.
Yeah.
It's not constant. You get it like 40% of the day. So, it comes 2 hours, get cut off 2 to 3 hours, you don't have electricity. That's first. Sometimes the water gets cut. You don't have water. You have to have reserve water to use it during the day. There is no safe. You're not safe there. It's not safe to go out. If it's night, you have your own house near your house. That's it. If you go somewhere else, you could be in danger. Transportation. It is really crazy there. Like you have to go maybe 2 hours before whatever meeting or place you want to go just to get there. The streets some of them are not even paved. The basic services in life, there's no respect for a human being, to put it in a way. There's no respect. No one respects you there. You don't feel like okay, you're living, you're drinking, you're eating, you're breathing, sleeping, but it's not a normal life. Coming here, you have a constant electricity, water, cold and warm. You have the internet, you have the safe. You're safe. You can sleep. You can go wherever you want, anytime you want. The beautiful view here. There's no like the weather there. Sometimes it get really crazy with the dust. It doesn't happen here. Just waking up, finding yourself in a place like this by itself is appreciation of this second chance that you get. It's appreciate. You have to be thankful to what you have, or what's your situation is right now.
Yeah. What would be the one thing, or the top thing that you appreciate out of everything you've said? What is the one thing that you have in this country that you appreciate the most?
Safe.
Feeling safe.
You're safe here. It doesn't matter if you go out the night, if you're a day, if you go out the whole day, 2 weeks you stay in the streets. Okay, yeah, police might say to check up on you, but that's it. I mean, they're coming to check on you to see if you're safe, if you need something. This doesn't happen there. I told you, some of the polices are with the militias. It's not safe. Iraq is not safe. Here is safe. This by itself is on the top of the pyramid of the thankful things you need to appreciate. This is on top of the pyramid. Safe. You're safe here.
But for all the bad and the negative things about Iraq, your home, that you've explained, is there anything? There must be beautiful parts of your country. There must be things that you appreciate, even though
your friends, your neighbors, the street you grew up with. And I mean, this is a beautiful place to go back and visit. Yes, I would like to go and visit my friends, some of the relatives, our neighbors, but it's not easy right now. It's a beautiful thing. Yes, you have to keep in touch with the people who are there you left behind. Yes, I'm in touch with my friends, some of the relatives, some of our neighbors, but it's beautiful. Like they're a whole other a second family. You get there's your family of friends. There are family of neighbors, the relatives. It's really beautiful there. If you take out all the negative things that I've said before, it was one of the best places to see. People from Europe, from the United States, from in the 70s, a lot of tourists came from all over the world to visit Iraq. The south, there you have the marshes, a beautiful place. You can see things, animals you may not be able to see in every country. At the north, we have the beautiful, we have some mountains. It's really beautiful there too. To the west of Iraq, you have it's somehow of a desert. There are the people there are really hospitable. Like you go there, if you don't eat, you're offending them. If they give you food and you don't eat, you're offending them. You have to eat. There's a meme on the internet that someone shot a person on the leg because he refused to eat, and you have to eat. If you need anything, knock on any door. I lost my keys. I lost my wallet. Can I just have a drink, a glass of water? They invite you in. You eat, you drink, you sleep. They give you money. You go on your way. You need
That's
anything.
awesome. Yeah.
Sometimes it happens in Iraq. Like sometimes this small bikes, it's a tuk-tuk. I think you know it. It's being used a lot now in Iraq. It's used in Egypt and thing. In India, the motorcycle, which is a taxi.
Yeah.
Sometimes in Iraq it gets like damaged with a car accident or something. The people who are driving it, they don't have a lot of money. They buy the cheapest thing. They try to make a live out of it.
Yeah.
So when something happened to it, you have no idea. In 1 hour or less, you have the money to buy a new one.
Wow.
The people on the street, one will stand on this street, one will stand on another one. Hey, that guy just lost his way to live. Can you help?
Yeah.
This one gives you a $5. This one gives you
Wow.
a 10, 20, 50, until you get the money even to buy a new and better one. So yeah, the people there are awesome. The way to live there, the culture, it's really, really nice. I like to be able to invite you to go there, but right now I don't recommend to go there right now. Yeah, so yeah, in a way it's a really beautiful place.
Well, okay. I mean, I'm going to wrap up, but is there anything that you'd like to share or like that you would like to say or ask me?
What do you think of me? Of the way that I lived there? What are your ideas? I would like to hear some ideas. What's going on inside your head right now?
Well, as you know, but the people listening as well, just so they know, I met you at this afternoon, you know, the English night.
Mm-hmm.
We spoke for about maybe 10 minutes max, so I didn't know you. I still didn't know you today. I asked you to come around and record a podcast because I was super fascinated and interested to get to know you more. And now after sitting here, this was the first time I've heard these stories. I'm sitting here thinking I'm going to have to edit bits and pieces out because my brain is trying to process the information that you're saying. That's one thing for sure I can say. I also feel very grateful to have what I have. It's moments like this that I think people need to experience and people need to hear, because if you don't, you're not going to appreciate what you have. You know, like you only appreciate the sun when you have rain. It sounds cliche, cringe, whatever, but it's very, very true. And I woke up every day in my little comfortable bed in New Zealand, and my life was great. And then I hear you waking up on a rooftop after you've just heard someone lay a bomb that could potentially kill you or your family. And yeah. Now I understand, or now I'm going to go and wake up tomorrow morning, and even from today on, more grateful and happy about my life, and try and make a difference. You know, try and make that's my ultimate goal. With all of this, I just want the world to be a better place. I just want to try and use my life to help people. If that's, I said this to a friend yesterday, if that's a random Thai dude on the street and I can change his life and give him something in order for him to provide his family, that's my purpose in life. And all of this is so meaningful. It's really a blessing to chat with you.
No, thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me. And yeah, you said it. It's the first time we said we didn't talk too much at the meeting. It's nice to get to know new people and hear new stories. I think some of what I said might get people to be thankful to whatever they have. It doesn't matter how small it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how big it is. You have to be thankful to whatever you have.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much
Thank you.
again. And I'm gonna keep in touch with you, and I look forward. Maybe we'll do another podcast, but let's see.
Maybe, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Anyway, cheers everybody.